You don't even need to cut the umbilical cord, okay? The baby's like, what am I doing? Ah, wow, 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 wow. You immediately put the baby under the cow. It gets to work. It starts working on the udders. The Trump administration wants you to fuck. If you're a woman, especially. If you're a part of the 25% in this community, the Trump admin, especially if you're a white woman, the Trump admin wants you to fuck and fuck hard. The Trump admin wants you to be nutted inside of. No pulling out. They want barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. Now, let me explain something to you. Where does it say white women? Well, that's the reason why I brought it up. That's the reason why I said white women. Great eye from this chatter who says, where does it say white women? Of course, they don't directly say white women. But the reason why they say you need to do more births in the United States of America, in spite of the fact that the United States, as opposed to other developed nations, has not fallen into the birth rate crisis that we see in places like Japan and numerous other countries, even China to a certain degree, is because there is one thing that the United States of America has done that allows there to be a constant group of younger people that are having babies on U.S. soil. This is, of course, also known as immigration. That's right. Something that I talk about all the fucking time. The only reason why the United States of America did not actually fall into the same birth rate decline that many other European and Asian countries have fallen into, despite being a developed economy, is because of the endless sequence of migration into the country. Migrants that are undocumented have documented children that are born on U.S. soil. So the reason why I say white women is because of that reality. Because if you adjust to the overall birth rates, or if you look at the actual demographic makeup across the board in the United States of America, as opposed to other developed countries, the American nation does not have the same issues. Unless you don't want to have immigration into the country any longer and you want to denaturalize people that are already here and also make it so that birthright citizenship no longer exists. No longer exists. That's the reason. That's the major reason. Don't even get duped by anybody that tells you otherwise. Now, a part of the reason why American citizens are not having children to the same degrees that they used to back in the day is because of something that many of you that are at that age know very well. Economic concerns. That's right. This is the problem with all developed nations, as a matter of fact. All developed nations have this issue because the more developed you are, the harder it gets to actually have a single parent household or two parent household where there's a single income earner. That is a major reason as to why people don't fuck as much. That's a major reason as to why people don't have children, especially in a place like the United States of America, where childcare is incredibly costly. Daycare is expensive. Childbirth is expensive. These are the reasons as to why people don't have children anymore, partially because they don't even have time to find a appropriate partner and then to go on a wonderful journey of learning and development and fall in love and then also live with one another and then also get married and have a child and then raise the child. You don't have no time for none of this shit. You have like 10 hours to yourself outside of sleeping, and you oftentimes spend those 10 hours gambling on fucking Roulette or stake.com with the hopes, or DraftKings with the hopes that you can get like a big payout. So yeah, Sigma Grindset, baby. Too busy following the cryptocurrency trends with the hopes that maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to get lucky. What is the Trump administration doing to address this problem? Baby bonuses and menstrual cycle classes are among the ideas pitched to Trump aides as they consider plans of boosting the birth rate. The reality is the cat's out of the fucking bag, okay? The toothpaste out of the tube. What you have to do if you want to force this dynamic is to eliminate birth control and also make it so that women can't work. Like make it illegal for women to work so they have nothing else to do and they just keep popping fucking babies. These are that's the only way. If you think that this is if this is a real problem that we have to address, then that's what you have to do. And I fear maybe that's where we're gonna get to eventually. Because $5,000 to have a child is not gonna fucking cut it. I have a solution. When was the last time everybody was popping out like 8 kids? At a time when maybe some of those children were not making it past like 12 or 13 or 14 due to a bunch of different medical complications because vaccines were not readily available. The other reason as to why they were popping out like 8 fucking kids was because you needed farm hands. Why would you need farm hands if agriculture is automated? How do we get back? How do we return? Okay, how do we return to tradition? On the one hand, we eradicate vaccines. Shouts out to RFK, big dog in the building, so that you have to at least have like a couple, right? So that you can make sure that some of them will make it past the age of 20. And how do we get back to an agrarian style structure like a fucking medieval peasant? We have a monarch and we destroy the global web, the international trade that we have designed. Okay. Bring back polio, bring back measles, bring back tuberculosis, bigly, destroy global trade in its entirety, and go back to behaving like the fucking Amish. There you go. You have solved your problem. And if you can't do that because people like their treats and they like their technology and all this shit, then you just basically make it illegal for women to work in the workplace. You make it illegal for women to get birth control. You make it illegal for some people to get abortions and make it very legal and forcible for others to also get abortions. You know, I can't seem to place my finger on it, but there was definitely a group that did that before where it was illegal for some people to get abortions. And then it was not only encouraged and legal, but forced for other groups to get abortions. I just can't. It's been like 100 years at this point, so I just can't remember what country did that. Oh, that's right. It was Nazi Germany. That's right. Okay, so yeah, I think that this would fix a lot of America's problems if this is a problem at all. Now, some of you are being real gay and lame and woke in the chat and talking about universal child care. Yuck. That's communism. Children might learn the wrong lessons there, like sharing is caring, or that the government should lend a helping hand in times of need. We can't have that. We should go back. We must return to agrarian peasantry. That's my solution. If this is a problem, the way to fix it is to do degrowth, to go back to anarcho-primitivist structures, to become an agrarian society, or make it illegal for women to work, and also make it illegal for women not to have a child, not to be pregnant at all times. And you can't really stop women from going to work, especially when they're the most educated in the workforce. So I think the problem starts at education. We need to make it illegal for women to actually go to school to begin with, because you don't need to learn how to read. You don't need to learn how to write. It's going to put dangerous ideas in your head if you start exercising your critical thinking skills. We don't want that. So I think women should also not go to school so that they can't even be competitive in the job market. Eliminating 50% of the workforce, by the way, automatically opens up a bunch of those gay jobs, desk jobs for men who want to do it. Seems to me like I've solved the problem. Isn't that a jump to claim this is for child labor? It seems more likely that a white supremacist policy given the 6th child encouragement, which is only sustainable in high income. Wait, I didn't say it was for child labor. No, you misunderstood my point. My point is not No, my point is create an environment where child labor is a necessity so that people will have to have more children. You're misunderstanding the point I'm making, because a part of the reason why people don't have 6 kids anymore is because you don't need fucking 6 farmhands. Do you not understand? So my argument is we have to erode material conditions to such a degree that, like, you need to, 12 farmhands. Well, I say 6 because you pop out 12 and then infant mortality rates take like half of those, right? So then you end up with like 6. Then I'm assuming there's a little bit of back and forth, like a little bit of drama amongst like who gets to retain ownership over the farm, and then there's like a little bit of a knife fight. So by the end of the process, you're left with like 4. Okay, one of them is too physically disabled from working on the farm for years and years, and the other one there's always a very strong boy who also is, not all there in the head, right? So then that eliminates it down to 2. And, they maybe split the farm 50-50. Oddly specific there. I'm just saying, like, we must return. We must return to tradition. What about the mother survival rate? Nobody cares about that. Don't be crazy. Mother survival rate. You can always just swap out the brood mare for another one. Hello? Does that seem like a society that is good to live in, by the way? Because I don't think that this is the best way to exist. Yeah, it is happening, though. That's true. West Virginia couple charged with trafficking their adopted black children to be used as slaves, authorities allege. This is from June 27, 2024. Also, child labor laws Kansas was like one of the pioneers in the child labor laws movement, where they are loosening up the pesky nanny state regulations surrounding such things. Child labor. Someone's got to fucking work in the factory. You know what I'm saying? Someone's got to pick these goddamn crops. Yeah. So great stuff overall. Pro-natalist stuff.
Here's how much it costs to have a baby in America.
More specifically, in Nashville, Tennessee.
So we're gonna start with the ultrasound that we had to get a couple days before Aspen. So that ultrasound.
Okay, you don't have to get an ultrasound. You know what I mean? You just here's a way to be cost effective. Okay, have the baby in a barn. Have you thought about having the baby in a barn? Wing it. Just fucking wing it, dude. Pop it out in a barn. The baby will grow accustomed to its environment. Okay, let me tell you, the baby pops out immediately. The baby is around hay and all the smells and all of that. Now you have a farmhand. Okay, pop the baby out in a barn, and much like a doe, okay, or like a baby deer, right? The baby plops out and instantly gets to work. You don't even need to cut the umbilical cord, okay? The baby's like, what am I doing? Wow. You immediately put the baby under the cow. It gets to work. It starts working on the udders. Teach the baby the importance of work, okay? That's how you do it.
Ultrasound cost us $2,000.
Yeah, Jesus was born in a barn. What are you, too good for fucking Jesus? And yeah, built-in leash. Exactly. The umbilical cord basically allows the baby not to leave the vicinity of mama.
$1,067.85.
Just to make sure the baby was okay.
And now on to my actual hospital stay. So we stayed for just under 3 days.
So whatever the observation room is, we got charged $413.65. No clue what that is.
My guess is maybe triage. You know, they were observing me.
The recovery room cost us $2,702.45. A hospital stay, I don't know how that's different, but that one cost us $4,438. The emergency room cost us $1,932.90. And I don't know what the laboratory is either, but that cost us an additional $1,439.20.
The only thing I could think of with the laboratory is like maybe like my IV that I had. I don't know. But then we go into labor and delivery. So this one is the one where I would expect it to be the most expensive because that's clearly why we're there. We got charged $10,500.
Wait, so I'm confused. I thought Trump was going to fix that with $5,000. I'm worried. It feels like $5,000 is not even cutting a fraction of the cost of simply having the child. Hello? What's going on? First of all, why don't you take on a ton of debt? Okay, you want to have a child? You want to improve American birth rates? Guess what, dude? It's time to get on a payment plan. Okay, it's time to fucking take on a shit ton of credit card debt.
$93.40 for that one. And then our anesthesia. So my epidural cost us more than anything else. That one was $14,000.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump is going to give you a third of the anesthesia charge for having a child. Oh, God. This is so funny. We're so freaking cooked, dude.
$446.15.
Was it worth it?
Yes. Yes. We also had a pharmacy and supply cost. So pharmacy cost $2,007.25 for supplies.
Okay, you don't need that. We already made it illegal for medicine. We made it illegal. No one can have pharmaceuticals anyway. Shouts out RFK once again. So like that, see, we are already eliminating so much of the cost, chat. God, this government is so wonderful, dude. The bounty. Oh my God. Yeah, Klarna birth. Exactly. I'm telling you, dude. I am telling you, we're making America great again. No more medicine. Farm hands for all. Babies born in a barn.
$565.03. So the grand total for everything came out to $33,011.73.
But that was just for our stay. We also had to pay for Aspen, our newborn daughter, to be in the hospital.
So her hospital stay, to stay with us in the room that we also paid for, was $4,008.
Our complete hospital bill cost $37,019.73.
Luckily, we have insurance, but insurance only helps so much. So
I'm sorry. I don't want to be racist. I don't want to be anti-white racist, but like, you know, of course they named their baby Aspen. Like, no disrespect. They seem wonderful people. They seem like wonderful people, but they look like they would name their child Aspen or like Kaylali. Oh my God.
how much we have to pay out of pocket to have a baby in America is
Brexley, Braden.
$11,550.93. Was it worth it? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Yes, it was worth every penny, but she was an expensive baby.
It's a lot of